What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now today we're at the field and we're going to be doing a play test and first impressions on field with the Mizuno Morelia Neo 4 Beta Elite. Now I'm really excited to try this boot. The leather quality is pretty great, so I'm going to share with you guys my first impressions of the boot. If you guys don't mind, make sure to leave a like on this video. Also subscribe so you're notified for the full review of this boot, and we'll get right into it. Alright, so I have the boot on feet, and I'm going to leave my laces untied just because I like to do that when I get new cleats. As long as I'm juggling all that stuff, I don't really need to tie my cleats. I'm just going to leave them untied. The boot overall has like a tighter feel here in the midfoot. Here in the toe box, since it is leather, it's nice and like soft, and it's really comfortable and like pretty wide, I would say, even though it is more like a speed boot. The midfoot here, because of this material, it does wrap your foot a bit more closely. As you guys can see, I have this weird bump here, which that kind of always happens with cleats since I do have a bit of a wider foot, but it doesn't mean that they don't fit. They actually fit pretty comfortably. They're not really squeezing my foot either. I think that Vapors fit a little bit like tighter here in the midfoot. In terms of sizing, as you guys can see, I do have a little bit of space here. It's not a crazy amount, but for me, honestly, I wouldn't go down half a size, even though the leather will stretch a little. Like, for me, it's fine. I feel like if I do go half size down, the midfoot is just going to be really tight. But overall, this little bit of space doesn't bother me. Like, first impressions, they fit really nicely. They're pretty comfortable from out of the box. Alright, so now I've been juggling for a couple minutes now, and actually the midfoot's getting a bit softer and it's kind of expanding a little. I don't really feel a pinch as much here. I had a little bit of a pinch here, very minimal, but I don't feel it anymore. Once I started juggling, that kind of went away. The toe box feels nice and soft. The upper is kind of plush. It's not as thin as I thought it would be. So it's like a good amount of padding and like dampening with the leather. I honestly thought it would be a lot thinner. It actually feels pretty nice. Overall, the touch is great, and the break-in time, honestly, there's very minimal break-in time needed. Like, for me, the boots are already comfortable, and I have like no pressure points. The heel liner is nice and soft. You have a good amount of padding there. It's a good amount of lockdown. Like, no slippage whatsoever, even though the laces aren't tied. So overall, I'm pretty impressed with the boot. Alright guys, so I've been at the field for about like an hour and a half now, and the boots are really good. I really like them. They're super comfortable. The break-in time was very minimal. I did have a little bit of pinching here on the side, but that's kind of normal because I do have a bit of a wider foot. But honestly, that kind of went away just after like juggling. Like the material here did really soften up. The leather upper is really nice and like padded. It isn't like very thin. I thought it was going to be a really thin like kangaroo leather upper, but it's not really. It actually does have a bit of padding to it, so it has a nice like dampened sensation. Overall, the Mizuno Beta like the elite version is really good. For like $200 you get a really nice premium kangaroo leather like in the toe box. The performance is really good. This midfoot really like wraps your foot really closely, and there isn't really any rollover. The heel liner is very comfortable, nice and padded. There's no slippage here in the heel because of that nice suede heel liner. Overall, it's a very solid boot, and if you guys always wanted to try a Mizuno boot but never could justify the high price tag, the elite version is just as good. Like, I have worn made in Japan models in the past, and I feel like the only difference is in the beginning. Like in the beginning, the kangaroo leather is soft and it already feels broken in, and these like didn't really feel super soft, but once broken in, there isn't really a huge difference. They're nice and comfortable, super soft. Like, it's still really high quality leather. The sole plate is good, nice and like flexible. It does have a little bit of like stiffness to it, but ever so slightly. The stud pattern is nice on AG. It's called Chronicle. The sizing, like I said, I had no problems. They don't really feel big at all. I do have a little bit of space, but overall it's really good. And overall, I'm impressed with the elite version of the Mizuno Betas. I don't know how big a difference there is with the made in Japan model since I don't have it, but I feel like these are a really good option. If you guys have any questions on the boot itself, make sure to leave them in the comments. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like. Also subscribe and hit the bell notification so you're notified for the full review on the Mizuno Beta Elite. I will be doing that in a couple weeks once I do get more playtime in them. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.